Hello everybody, this is Sunday Adelaja here again, and we are going to be talking about DSA's principles. So what are the principles that we are going to be talking about? In this particular series or genre, I'm going to be basically focusing on principles of national development or principles of national transformation. So I'm going to be talking mainly on the principles that we could apply to grow any country, to develop any nation, and that especially because I come from Africa, I'm from Nigeria, I'm going to be focusing a lot on the principles that will help us to experience growth, development, and civilization. So I've done one series before and I'm going to continue. So what am I going to be talking about today? I'm going to be talking about the principle of national growth and development, focusing on how to grow a nation and how to develop a nation, how to bring about civilization to a nation through the power of love. You see, love is one of the greatest words in the universe, and everybody knows that. We all know that love is one of the greatest forces on earth. But how can you use the power of love to bring about national development? That's what most people don't know. People know that love, people have gone to wars for love. People have gone to battles because of war. People have been engaged in duels where they kill each other because of love. That love has moved nations and empires and kings, and strong men have fallen under and submitted themselves under the power of love. We know that love is powerful because most of us have experienced love. We've experienced love to the opposite sex. We've experienced love to our children, to our parents, to our relatives, and some of us maybe have experienced love for our nation and land as well. But so we know that love is strong. But how do you use love? How do you coordinate love so that love is actually used to bring about progress, that love is actually used to bring about national development? And I really wish that the leaders of Africa and the leaders of Nigeria and leaders of nation, political leaders, will hear this message and know that love is not just some ephemeral kind of understanding, some abstract word that cannot be applied in economic terms. Love can actually be applied in economic terms. Love can be facilitated to bring about economic growth. Love can be facilitated to also bring about harmony and to resolve every kind of conflict and tension in a nation. So how do we do it? Number one, the first way to use love to bring about the growth and development is that we must start out with a whole strong propaganda machinery. And what do we promote through our film industry, through our radio stations, through our television stations, through our books, through our educational systems, through our social groups, through our religious organizations? We must give, as national leaders, we must give directions to these media outlets. We must give directions to these social groups. We must give directions even to the religious groups. Not like we are controlling them like we are dictators, but we are giving them directions and suggestions that for our country to achieve our goal and our economic and developmental growth, that we advise that everybody in all these outlets that we should teach every citizen to love and respect the land. The Bible talks about the land as spewing out the dwellers thereof. What could have been done against the land that the land itself will spew out the dwellers of it? So it means that the land responds to the way the inhabitants of the land treat it. There is another instance when we see when the brother of Abel, Cain, actually killed him. The Bible said that even though nobody witnessed it, but that the land recorded the blood. And from the land, the blood was crying out for vengeance. The land was sending information out to God, crying out. So the land could record, and the land records everything that we do on the land, either good or bad. So there is no way for us as a nation to expect national development and growth if we keep on abusing the land. So the citizens of our nations must be taught to respect the land. That means we do everything possible to prevent things like oil spillage. Even ordinary things like throwing papers. Do you know that in Europe, if you just finish eating your sweet or your candy and you throw paper out from the car, in Nigeria, I said simple. One time I was in Nigeria and I was in the car with some of my team members. Some of them came from Spain and others from Sweden, from America, and we were in the car and there were cars in front of us. And as we were driving, people from different cars, some people would throw the can of water or the Coca-Cola or whatever, they throw it from the window, just throw it out. And then some people would just throw paper out. We keep on saying that everywhere. And then we see men, grown-up men, defecating the country, by going to urinate right in the street, right beside the road. They're just defecating the land. And these white people that were with me were saying, Pastor Sunday, one of them said, I am 56 years old now. And I've never seen, in all of my 56 years of life in Europe, I've never seen a human being thrown paper out like that. Talk less of defecating. Because the whole country has been so well educated that you don't abuse the land. It doesn't matter what economic prosperity you have. If you abuse the land will abuse you. The land will reject you. The land will retaliate. That's why we have all kind of social conflicts and all kind of unexplainable catastrophes, because the people of the land, they are not respecting the land. That's why if you go to a country like Singapore, what you will discover is that if you throw paper like that, you are fined or you even go to jail. Until we bring order like that and with penalties. We teach people, but we also know that there are consequences. Before the land will punish all of us, let's punish you first. That's the first thing. We must teach a whole nation through propaganda machinery that we have to love. And not just love. Love, anybody can love in words, but how do you really love a land? You respect the land in your actions and in your attitudes. So some people will tell me, okay, why don't we just build, there are no toilets, that's why people are defecating. Well, okay, what about throwing papers? Oh, there are no garbage boxes. Well, it's about culture. If we all have that culture, if we will, be educated and we will be informed about these things, even ordinary citizens can put those garbage boxes everywhere and garbage cans everywhere and bins everywhere, so that we don't need to wait for the government to do this. Or social organizations like churches could put toilets in the streets where they are. Can you imagine if every church will put a public toilet in every street where they are located? Because they are not educated about these things. They don't even see it as a need. They can put toilets for themselves, but they don't put street toilets. What about if every mosque, every church will begin to do this? We don't need to always wait for the government. If all of us will respect the land to the extent of making, of putting something, contributing things like this, we will see development in no time. That is point number one. Now, what is the other point? That how should we use love to bring about growth and development? What is the next thing that we could do? We need to teach our people. The same way we teach them about honoring and respecting the land, we must teach people to honor and respect their neighbors. The Bible says that we must exalt or prefer or think about our neighbors above ourselves. So that principle is key in national development. For example, when I am, using like in Lagos, people are having a lot of dirt and sewage coming from their house. When I do, I am, passing my dirt and sewage and, and I put a gutter, The reason why in people in our culture we put a gutter in front of their house and then you go down the street smelling and everybody, no, everybody's seeing it and everybody's thinking is because we don't know how to respect somebody else, a neighbor. We have not been called, we don't have that culture of honoring and respecting and loving our neighbor. Even though Christians know the word, or even Muslims know the term, love your neighbor as yourself. But not loving your neighbor as yourself for us is just a religious term, or it's just some theory somewhere that don't really mean anything. But if we could bring that principle into national development and growth, the way to do it is that we tell people that you don't pass your dirt, your sewage or your dirt out in the street where somebody else will see it. If you are careful enough that if your gutter is done in a way that is under the ground, is done in a way that nobody else sees it, then you don't have the moral right to offend your neighbor. Because of that, you go the extra mile to dig a sewage or to dig a gutter and cover it in such a way that nobody is offended by your action. That is practical love. And if everyone knows that they have to do this, not to offend, and none of your actions should offend you. For example, if you are building your house, you don't put all your garbage out there for 1 month, for 1 week, and everybody is passing by, nobody can do anything. Or you just go and park your car in the middle of the road and nobody can do anything. We have to educate the whole populace in such a way that nobody does that. So that nobody goes about, putting things that will hamper the smooth life or running of the life of a neighbor. Nothing you do should ever cross the right and privilege of any other member of your society, especially your neighbor. Now, the thing that we must do first is to do a lot of propaganda work, information work. But even more than that, there must be penalties attached. Again, if you go to countries in Europe, any little thing you do, if your neighbor complains, you pay for it or you go to jail. We don't have that culture in Africa yet, where for every little offense, you are penalized for it. And that is the kind of, so this must be constitutionalized. We must pass a law about honoring your neighbor and about all your actions to be considerate. You must be considerate. In our society right now, most people are only considerate about themselves. They are only considerate to themselves and to their immediate family. But we don't really care what happens to other people anymore. That's why people will defecate. That's why people will go and put car anywhere, drive anyhow, and even churches. That Lagos Ibadan road. We think, they are serving God, they are worshiping God, so don't talk, you can't talk. If the worshiping of God that you are doing is standing on the way of other people who don't belong to your church or who are not even Christians, if your worshiping God is bringing discomfort and bringing a lot of pain to other people, you are not walking in love. And there is no worship of God without love. And you cannot love God without loving your neighbor. The best way to love God and worship God is to love your neighbor. Understand the plight of your neighbor. Don't block that road for 4, 5 hours, 6 hours on a weekend. And other people, are shut down. They cannot make their appointments, and the economy and their businesses are suffering. And some people are even dying on the road just because you want to praise to your God. That's not love. And these things must not just only be propagated all over the nation, but there must be penalties attached. You know what? I thought I could fit in all what I wanted to say in 10 minutes. I can't. So I'm going to continue next week, just where I stopped. Bless her. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now, we need to spread this word, and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number 1 thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number 2, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment Write your comment, good or bad. Just write what you feel. Number 5, share, share, share. Share on every platform. Share on Instagram. Share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.